How you been, first off, man?
I've been all right.
Family good? Your mom good?
It's good to see
man.
you. Good to see you all right. You're sharp as usual.
Appreciate it, man.
Energetic as usual.
Appreciate it, man.
You know, so I'm glad that you're okay.
I appreciate the civil discussion, man. A lot of people getting a little crazy, but we already talked about this. You know what? We don't support that violence and getting crazy. People need to talk it through, man.
Yeah, so what I like to do, because since I just started my platform,
Nice.
what I like to do is try to show how interfaith dialogue, even though we fundamentally disagree on everything, basically.
Everything? Not everything.
I said basically.
Come on, bro.
I said
we
basically.
both believe there is a God.
We do.
Okay, so we don't. That's a pretty big fundamental. That's not.
I said
look. Let me take it one. Let me say something. All right.
Yeah.
I think we agree on a lot more than we disagree on.
Yeah, I think that.
Right? Like, okay, let me go with that, right? We both believe there is a creator.
Yeah.
Right? We both believe that creator sent guidance.
Yeah.
Like atheists, agnostics, the majority of the people that are nowadays attacking our moral values would disagree with that.
Yeah.
Me and you both disagree with LGBTQ lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Right? Or you selling out?
No.
You're keeping it real, right? No, I'm serious because a lot of your Christian brethren be selling out on that stuff, bro.
Absolutely right. You're
See how much we agree on?
You're absolutely
All
right.
right, let me keep going. Abortion.
Yeah.
How you gonna say we fundamentally on everything?
No, I didn't say
just caught him on
everything.
again.
Basically.
All right. Fundamental beliefs like there's a God.
So like,
All right, now hold on. Let me one more thing.
Sure.
Jews would say Jesus was born out of wedlock. Me and you would both agree that he was born miraculously to Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
So me and you actually agree on more than you and Jews.
Sure.
So I think we got a lot more we agree on.
This is what I was saying.
All right.
Even though we have, let's say, many
Fundamental disagreements.
we can still do this.
Sure.
Laugh as we're just talking,
Yep.
dapping it up,
Yep.
chopping it up.
Yep.
And I want more Christians and Muslims who see this stuff to be able to have these conversations without the malice, without the, we got to one-up you,
Right.
yada, yada, yada.
I agree.
Your style, I love your style because it's, you can joke with me,
Right.
and I will never take it personal. You can say little stuff that I know it's not
Right.
like evil or malice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's funny to me.
And look, I want good for you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want any Muslim attacking you. I wouldn't want any Muslims using violence against you. I tell all the Muslims out there, look, we can have civil discussions. People that resort to making little clips of personal insults at home when they're sitting in their bathrooms, like your buddy Sam, I don't support that. Like I'm here, me and him can sit face to face and have a civil discussion without calling anybody's mom's names and things like people do, because I don't think that's Christian-like, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah, so that's why I like art decorum. That's why I like art decorum, and I hope people can learn from it.
Me too.
And so that's what I'm trying to grow that.
Cool.
So I had a question
Go for it.
about the Messiah.
All right.
So from the Islamic perspective,
Okay.
what does Messiah mean?
So you're talking about Masih, right? Masih is like a messenger, somebody who comes to guide people and to bring them a message and be basically a instrument of guidance for people, right? So for example, they have the false Messiah, Masih ad-Dajjal, right? Now he's got his own message, but his message is a false message, right? So Isa ibn Maryam, for example, he was the one that came and he guided people towards the truth, right? So he can be called a Messiah in that sense.
So my question then would be, then could Muhammad or even Noah or any of the other prophets count as being Messiahs?
So in Arabic, we use two terms, right? For prophet and Rasul, right? One is Nabi and one is Rasul, right? You already know this stuff, you're good. All right, good. So every prophet who is chosen is Mustafa, right? Mustafa, like the one who's chosen, is going to be a prophet. But not every one of them will be a Rasul, right? Because Rasul gets Risala. They get a message revealed to them, right? So Islamically, yes, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, because he had the Suhuf, Isa, Jesus, Ibn Maryam, those are all Rusul, and you can call them in that sense Messiahs as well.
Okay, so you can call the other prophets Messiah.
Why not?
So why aren't they called Messiah?
They are. I mean, what do you mean they're not?
So Muhammad, Noah, and these other prophets, they're called Messiahs?
You could call them Messiahs if you like. I mean, what do you mean they're not called?
So nowhere do we only find Jesus being identified as the Messiah.
Where?
In the Quran and the Hadith.
In the Quran, in a hadith, for example, when we talk about them being rusul, right? This puts them at the same thing as being a Masih, right?
Really?
Yeah, somebody who's bringing a message.
Okay, so what is the reference for that? Like,
Sure,
is it in the Quran or a Hadith where you can equate a Rasul, like you said?
Sure, to a Messiah. No problem. This is a Christian missionary tactic. This guy sits and watches our videos for more than a year, just sits there, prepares to bring an off-the-wall random question to try to misconstrue ideas. Because they cannot prove the divinity of Jesus from their own books, what they try to do is they say, oh, look, Jesus, Isa, has been called Masih. That's a title he's been given, meaning the anointed or the chosen. So he says, oh, this means that he's different from all the other prophets, and to the ignorant Muslim, they will try to then make this seem as if Jesus is divine, peace and blessings be upon him, as a prophet. He's a prophet. But this is a random question that they try to use as a tactic. So we're going to give them evidences. We're not just about debates. I will take all the books to the park to show them. But I know from past experiences with Wood and others, when you take the books and evidences, they just run away. And I know this missionary is going to do the same thing. So I'm going to scan and put those evidences in this video as well, so that any other missionary that tries to fool or trick a Muslim, the Muslims will have these evidences to show them. So what does al-Masih mean? Here from al-Ma'ani, from the famous Arabic dictionary, it shows al-Masih, it is somebody who's anointed, somebody who is blessed, somebody who is a king or a prophet. It can be used for prophets generally. Now, let's look at the evidences from their own books, from the Bible. I will give evidences from the Quran, from a hadith, but I'll also give evidence from their own book. If we look at Psalms, this is pre-Jesus, this is Old Testament, right? Here in Psalms 1850, you will see the word Masih. I've highlighted it. Masih being used for Dawood, for David, and his progeny that is to come, his descendants, that will be prophets like Solomon and so on. So here, Masih, the same word that he's like, oh, never been used except for Jesus, is being shown in his own book. And you will see it used for Cyrus. In fact, you will see it used all over the Old Testament, being used for other than Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him. Now this Psalms 105:15, this is very clear. It shows the plural sense being used for prophets. And it says, do not touch my anointed one. This is the Musahi. This is the one who is Masih. And then he explains that do my prophets no harm, showing that this word Masih is used for prophets. Now, if he wants evidence from the Quran, we'll give evidence from the Quran. This is from Tafsir al-Tabari, and this is an evidence-based tafsir, not an opinion-based, this is based athar, right? Here, when the word Masih is used, Ibn al-Waqi', his hadith with the chain, he explained this word from his father, Yani al-Waqi' ibn Jarrah, from Sufyan, from Mansur, from Ibrahim al-Nakhai, who explains the word Masih to mean a Siddiq, those that are truthful, and those that are anointed with barakah, meaning those that were prophets. In fact, in the evidence-based, now again, this is evidence-based tafsir, Ma'thur, it shows that Ibrahim al-Nakhai and Hasan al-Basri explained this word to mean those that were blessed, those that were chosen. Now, the ulama of Islam, based on these evidences, have said that Masih is a word that is used as a title, as it was for Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him, but it can be used, يَقْصُدْ بِهِ كُلُّ النَّبِي. It can be referenced to any prophet. And what is the ma'nahu, what is the meaning? Al-Mukhtar min Allah, the one who is chosen by Allah. This is the evidence-based response. All right. And give me some time, look up some books, or?
Yeah.
All right. No, but you just came out here from nowhere, right? Like you didn't ask me to look this up or anything, right?
Yeah.
So you got a question, no problem. Come back next Sunday. We'll bring you some books.
Okay. So
cool.
Okay, so from my understanding,
right?
It's only Jesus. From what I've read.
From where did you read that?
Just the Quran and Hadith. is that only Jesus is identified
but
as the Messiah.
what I'm saying is, where in the Quran did you find that it's only for Jesus being the Messiah?
Well, I've only seen him called the Messiah.
Okay, no problem. So if we bring you some references of other being called Messiah, or the meaning of Messiah and Rasul being similar and same as being the leader and those that bring the message, then you're good?
If it comes from the Quran or the Hadith, then sure.
Okay, no problem.
You know, so like if somebody else can qualify, if like Muhammad or
Alayhi salatu wassalam.
Moses can
Alayhi salatu
qualify
wassalam.
as a Messiah,
Okay.
as the Messiah, I'd like to see that reference.
Cool.
Because it's interesting to me, especially coming from a Christian perspective.
Okay.
When I read the Quran and I see, okay, it identifies Jesus as the Messiah,
Okay.
no one else. So why him?
Right.
Why does it specifically identify him as the Messiah?
But again, I think you're getting stuck up on a word, because what is the meaning?
Exactly.
Right? So when you have risala, when you have somebody who's going to bring a message, rusul, right? They're also going to bring the people together and follow them and teach them, right?
But so is that what Messiah means?
Sure.
Someone that brings a message.
A message, who leads the people, who guides the people. They're the one that was chosen, the one that was sent. Yes?
Okay, so, all right, so which one is it?
It's just, again, Arabic is...
I'm trying to pinpoint it.
Sure, I got you. But Arabic's not like that, right? It's not like a word has depth in it, right? So what is a Rasul, right? A Rasul has risala, but he's also a leader. He's also a prophet, right? He's also somebody who's chosen, right? So some terms are going to be because maybe the Aramaic terms or Abrahamic terms would match them. But the meaning in the end would have to come to those who get a message, who lead a people, who will be the ones that were chosen.
Very good.
Right? So let me finish. I got you. Like, for example, Nastafa comes the word Mustafa. You know what Mustafa means?
No.
All right. So at least your trip wasn't going to be wasted. You're going to learn something new, right?
Yeah, I learn something every time.
Good, good. Mustafa is the one who's chosen. Mustafa, chosen,
okay.
Right? Now, that name has come specifically for the Prophet ﷺ, Muhammad.
Okay.
Peace be upon him. They call him Al-Mustafa, right?
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that the other prophets were not Mustafa, that they were not chosen, right? But because that had a particular connotation in the language and the time of its place, but we can say that those Anbiya that were Nastafa, that were chosen, were also chosen. They were also Mustafa. And the Nabi has that meaning as well.
I like it.
A Rasul has that meaning as well. So all of that you're going to have to go into the linguistics, and each word is going to have depth.
So that's important. You made an important point.
I like it.
Mustafa means the chosen one.
Sure.
And it doesn't mean that the other prophets weren't chosen, because they were.
Good.
They were chosen.
Yeah.
But Muhammad was chosen specifically for that time and that purpose.
Sure. And every prophet was chosen for their time and their purpose.
Right. So if we translate the same logic to what Messiah means,
okay,
and Messiah means chosen one,
sure,
and we see that, okay, it doesn't mean that everybody else wasn't chosen too. Other prophets were chosen.
Excellent.
However, Jesus was chosen for a specific purpose.
Agreed.
Okay.
We good.
All right, so very good then. So it would mean that, okay, there is a reason why Jesus explicitly and specifically is identified as the Messiah, and him alone.
So again, him alone, we're going to have to show you some evidences to show that Messiah is not exclusive just to Jesus. Peace and blessings be upon him. He is well known through that, no doubt to that. But understand something, every prophet had a reason why they were chosen for their time and their place, right? For example, if you look at Ibrahim alayhi salam, you know Abraham, right? We both believe in Abraham. See, another thing we got in common, right? So now you have Ibrahim, he's particularly chosen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Kana ummatan. He says something about him that he was a ummah, a nation by himself. Right? Now we also know there are other prophets that will come on the Day of Judgment that will not have anybody behind them. They will be a ummah to themselves as well. Right? Okay. But Ibrahim alayhi salam was specifically called out because of the great work that he did. He was chosen for his time. Musa alayhi salam, now he is chosen. It's not that Ibrahim is any more special or Musa is any more special, but he's chosen for his time and his prophethood. The Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu salam, he is the Mustafa, he is the Masih, he is the Rasul, he is the Nabi for his time. And Jesus alayhi salatu salam was for his time.
Okay. All right.
So we good?
so if you're saying that, and we agree that certain prophets were chosen specifically for their own purpose,
sure,
that God has called them for.
Agreed.
Right? So we have Jesus, who is not only being called a Rasul, right, but also called the Messiah.
Sure.
Muhammad's called
the Rasul, the Mustafa, Amin, Ahmad,
and then you have Abraham being called other titles as well.
Khalil.
So,
which is interesting, right? Like Ibrahim is called Khalil,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu is also Khalil.
So then,
but have you known that? Like, don't just skip over what I'm saying.
No,
right?
no. Like,
you see what I'm saying or no?
No,
Ibrahim is well known in the Quran as Khalil, right? In the Hadith, we know him to be Khalilullah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
that's fine.
But that doesn't mean that Rasulullah Muhammad ﷺ is also not the Khalil of Allah, because there are hadith that mention the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ being Khalil as well.
So
right?
What does that mean again?
Khalil is a close friend. Yeah, it's not like Siddiq. Khalil is a very close friend.
So Muhammad is also called the friend of God?
Yes.
In the Quran?
In Hadith, yes.
Oh, in the Hadith.
Yeah, Sahih Hadith.
I haven't seen that.
Well, you haven't watched my series on the life of the Prophet then, right?
Yeah, so what narration is that? That's interesting.
So Sahih narration. Him being called Khalil is in the beginning of my Seerah Durus, the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Okay.
So you can watch those. I give all the references, book, page, volume, and if you're really interested, I can get it and bring it to you as well. No problem.
Very good.
I got you.
So now coming back to the purpose of the Messiah.
Excellent.
What does the Quran or the Hadith tell you that the purpose of the Messiah
is to lead a people, call them towards Tawheed, like every other messenger. He brought a message from Allah to his people.
So where do you get this from?
The Quran and Sahih Hadith. I will bring you reference. If you want to know about Isa ibn Maryam by himself.
Yeah, I want to know about the Messiah.
Okay, so let's do this. I mean, because you didn't tell me that we're going to discuss this or something, right?
I know.
Okay, so
you're sharp, man.
I got you. I like evidence-based discussions, right? I don't like just trying to, pretend like you know things you don't know, right?
Very good.
So, if you want to know about the message and you want to look at particular ayat, you want to look at Sahih Ahadith, authentic Ahadith only, about the message of Isa ibn Maryam and what was the purpose, let me know ahead of time. I'll get the books for you from my library, mark them up, bring them. You can take pictures, make copies for yourself, no problem.
Okay,
we're here all the time.
Yeah, that's dope.
Right? All right, cool.
So this is what, like when I was looking into this.
Okay, good.
What struck me is how the Quran identifies Jesus as the Messiah, using this term, this title, Messiah, which is
chosen,
as you know, the chosen one.
Who brings a message? Who brings a? No, you don't think a Messiah brings a message?
Well, it's not just that.
Okay.
Because it's not just bringing the message, but the Messiah, according to the previous scriptures, is supposed to be the Redeemer of Israel, the Redeemer of mankind, and the Savior of the world, basically.
Okay.
So that's what the Messiah is supposed to do. So when you identify Jesus as this figure,
okay,
I'm thinking like, wow. So how do they?
We love Jesus. I mean, if you think that we don't honor Jesus or we don't think him to be a great prophet, you know better than that, right? But the problem is when you say he's God, right? Like me and Danny were talking earlier about this, right? We would agree that God knows everything, right?
Yeah.
Like at all time, God is all-knowing.
Yeah.
Right? So when we look in your Bible, Mark
13:32.
13:32. Look at you, man. I still like the book, But of that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. So clearly it says that of that day and hour, no one knows. Not that people forgot, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. So that clearly shows the Son cannot be God, because that's like having a square circle. Either you know or you don't know.
All right, so my question to you is, and so...
As a question, you're going to throw that question back at me?
Yeah, of course.
Come on, what about an answer?
This is how Jesus answered. He answered your questions all the time.
All right.
So the first thing that I'm going to ask you is, what is your assumption? Because you're obviously assuming that he's saying, using the word "no" in a form of ignorance, right?
I'm just reading.
Okay.
Right?
So
I mean, I'm not assuming. I think you know the English language, right?
Have you read the? Have you read the previous verses before that?
Sure.
So what's it about?
Assuredly, I say to you.
So what's it about?
I mean, I haven't memorized them. No, I've read them.
You bring a verse.
Okay,
you got it highlighted.
Gotcha.
I'm expecting you to know the context.
Sure.
So
tell me.
What is he talking about?
I mean, I've read the Bible cover to cover, right?
Come on,
but
Sheikh.
now you tell me the context.
Okay. So
All right.
I'll tell you.
Go for it.
So the context is Jesus is literally, detail for detail, telling you everything that's about to happen
Okay.
up until his coming.
Okay.
Detail by detail.
Excellent.
Destruction of the temple.
Right.
Destruction of the city.
Right.
How the persecution is going to come.
Okay.
The rebuilding of the temple.
Okay.
The abomination of the Antichrist is going to come.
Gotcha.
And how the sun will be darkened, detail by detail by
Detail, letter by letter, line by line. Okay.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden says, oh, well, no one knows the day of the hour, not even the Son, but the Father in heaven.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you this.
I don't think that was an answer.
Does it make sense to you? I'm just trying to put this in perspective.
Right.
Does it make sense to you for, number one, Jesus to lay out everything that's going to happen on that day up until that day?
Yeah.
And say that he doesn't know when he's going to come?
Makes perfect sense.
It doesn't make sense at all.
The Bible doesn't make sense? Because you just said that's what happened.
No, your understanding of that.
Okay, so let me ask you.
No,
this.
I'm not.
Okay, you asked a question. Does it make sense? I mean.
Yeah, you said.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, bro. I got you.
So let me just.
Okay.
So another way that you can look at this.
Okay.
Which is the correct way contextually.
Okay.
Is that Jesus is not speaking of knowledge when it comes to ignorance, but he's talking about declarative.
Look! Come on. You're stretching this.
No, I'm not.
Okay, look. But hold on. Just 1 second.
No, can I show you?
Let me just read it, right? Because
you read it
you look.
Let me show you an example.
But okay, let me just read it, and you can show me.
Right, I'll show you an example.
But of that day and hour, no one knows. That's pretty simple.
After he just laid out everything that's
yeah,
going to
exactly. So like I was gonna say, but you didn't let me. But let me say it now. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us about the signs of the Day of Judgment, some very detailed signs, some very specific signs, right? But then when he was asked about when exactly is the Day of Judgment, he said nobody knows except Allah, right? I could tell you whatever Allah has revealed to the Prophet, yes, he would know. So whatever Allah revealed to Jesus, the son of Mary, peace and blessings be upon him, we love him, then yes, he knows. All those details that Allah revealed, yes, but some things only God knows, only Allah knows. And that's exactly why, as you mentioned the context, that he's mentioning all these details, but then he says, but of that day and hour, no one knows. Not no one declares. Don't change words and put your own. Don't put your own. Let me finish first, bro. Don't put your own wording into it. But no one knows, not even the angels in heaven. Not that the angels aren't going to declare it, is that they don't know, nor the Son, but only the Father. Go ahead.
All right, very good. So go to 1 Corinthians chapter 2.
Go for it. Here you go.
You don't know where it is?
I know where Corinthians is.
All right,
I got you on Corinthians. I was just trying to help you out.
Wrong way, man. You got to go the other
Corinthians.
way. Corinthians in the New Testament.
I got you. Relax. We've gone over Corinthians many a time.
All right, good. You should know where it is.
You know, we will get
You're
to
rusty,
it.
Man. You got all
Corinthians. I got you.
Very good.
That's why I got you right here. And that's why I have these, right? So I can know where I need to get you. Okay, 1 Corinthians. Go ahead.
Chapter 2.
You said 1 Corinthians?
Chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
All right. So let's go ahead and read.
Go ahead, bro.
All right. So this is Paul.
Okay.
Right? This is what he's
So it's not
talking.
Jesus.
I'll just show you an example of how
I'm just
Noah-
asking so I can be clear.
I already told you.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah.
So this is what he says. And I, brethren, when I came to you, right? So he visited the believers in Corinth.
Okay.
Did not come with excellent of speech or of wisdom, declaring to you the testimony of God.
Okay.
For I determined not to know anything among you, except Jesus Christ and Him crucified.
Okay.
So here's my question to you.
Okay.
When he says that I determined to not know anything except Jesus and Him crucified, does that literally mean that Paul didn't know anything except Jesus and Him crucified?
Sure. So here, definitely Paul from, again, I'm not an expert on the Bible. You're just asking my opinion, right?
Sure. Just a logical conclusion.
No, there's not a lot, because again, you would have to be looking at the textual background and all that, but I can tell you my opinion. In my opinion, what he's saying is that the emphasis that all he has is on Jesus and his crucifixion.
Exactly.
Right? But there's a difference here. This is why I said you can't play with verses.
Not a difference.
Hold on.
I'm done.
So look, you're not done?
No, because
okay, I'll let you finish first.
So Uthman, listen.
Go ahead.
When you see a clear example,
sure,
where Paul says, "I determined to know nothing,
right,
except Jesus and Him crucified."
Gotcha.
So that means that it's not that he didn't know anything.
Gotcha.
It means that he only decided to declare or make known
gotcha.
Jesus and Him crucified.
Excellent.
Clear example of how no is used.
Excellent.
And the context tells you. So when we go back to Jesus' example,
right,
where we see where he's literally laying out detail by detail everything that's happening. And then he says that the Son doesn't know the hour, nor the angels, nor no man. Okay. He's not saying that he himself is ignorant of the day, but he's saying that it's not for him to make known to them. It's not for him to declare. There's an example of this.
Okay.
Go to Acts chapter 1.
Hold on. Let me ask you a couple of things first.
You gotta let me finish this.
Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish it.
So go to Acts chapter 1. Because he's asked the same question. And notice how differently he answers.
Gotcha.
Acts chapter 1.
I got you. Acts 1, chapter 1. Go ahead.
All right, so let's see here. Around verse 7, he said to them, oh, okay, so verse...
You're slipping. It's your book, bro. Come on.
Verse 5, I think it is.
Oh, Avery's slipping.
So, Acts chapter 1.
Okay.
Starting at verse 6.
Well, 5 or 6?
That's 6.
Okay.
So it says, therefore, when they had come together, they asked him, saying, Lord, will you at this time restore the kingdom to Israel? Same question that they asked him, right?
Okay. Well, it's the hour of his resurrection.
Right, and at the hour, he's talking about how the Son of Man will come and restore Israel.
Okay.
That's the same context of Mark.
All right? Go ahead.
We in agreement?
Kind of.
Okay,
go ahead.
All right, so I'll take that.
Go ahead.
So watch what Jesus says.
Okay.
Verse 7, and he said to them, it is not for you to know.
Okay.
The times or the seasons which the Father has put in his own authority.
Okay, the Father.
Notice how he doesn't say it's not for us to know.
But he doesn't say I know.
He doesn't. Stop. Please pay attention to the context.
I am paying attention to the context. I'm not jumping.
So why doesn't he say, I told you guys already, I don't know?
Okay.
But instead he answers and says, it's not for you to know.
Are you
the
done?
times that the Father has fixed.
Okay. I'm going to let you finish.
All right, yeah, I'm just wrapping it up.
Okay, go ahead.
So, how Jesus compares his coming, he compares it to a Jewish wedding in chapters previous to this. He compares the coming of the Son of Man to a Jewish wedding.
Okay.
And according to tradition in the Jewish wedding, it's the father that announces the day of the wedding. It's not the groom or the bride.
But he knows, right?
Yes, they know. But they're not the one that makes it known. They're not the one who declares it.
I'm going to let you finish.
So this is the point. The point is, it's not a point of ignorance, but it's a point of declaration. That's the issue.
You good? All right. Now,
I hope you understood that.
I did.
Okay, good.
But let me ask you. Let me. No, not objection. I want to understand, right?
Sure.
So the first thing is that if you ask me, what do you know, and I lay out what I do know, are you paying attention now? Are you? I don't. All right. I don't want you to start getting to refutation mode. I want you to understand, like I was listening, right?
Yeah, you were listening.
I was listening, bro. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm gonna go to every one of those. Watch, right?
Good.
So if you were to ask me, like how do you get from A to Z, and I lay everything out, and then you tell me what exit do I say, and I say I don't know the exit. Only my son knows the exit. Right?
That's not what.
Hold on. Let me again. Like, see now, instead of listening, you're already refuting, right? Let me finish my example, right? Just listen to my example.
It's not like you're asking me.
I'm not. I'm giving an example, and then let me know what you think of it when I'm done, right? So if I say, hey, go this way, go that way, turn this way, but the exit nobody knows it but my son. That is giving the am, which is in Arabic, the total, and then taking the khas out, taking the specific out. That clearly shows that nobody knows the exit except my son. I'm not saying that that's all I know, or no, I know about it, but I'm not going to tell you about it. That is saying that nobody knows it but one person. That is specific, okay? Now, on the other hand, if Danny asks me, hey, do you know about football? And I'm like, look, all I know about is the Raiders, right? That is a different term. That's not saying that I don't know the charges and things. I'm making a specific emphasis on something. Those are not the same context, and you know that. And the fact is, Danny earlier was telling me a totally different explanation, saying that he did. So there's more than one.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the other one?
Whatever one Danny was.
Which one did he tell me? You said there's two, so you must know the other one.
There's two that I know of.
What's the other one?
I like to stick to.
What's the other one?
I like this one.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Come on, bro.
There could be more than one answer.
There could be more than so you guys aren't really sure then. You're guessing here, right?
It's not about not
So
sure.
which one is it?
No, so, no,
Okay, hold on.
Wait,
I'm not even done with my explanation yet,
hold on,
but this is
Uthman.
just interesting.
Wait, Uthman,
Go
notice
ahead.
how earlier when I asked you about the specific meaning of Messiah,
Sure.
you gave me multiple meanings.
Because
I asked you
they
which
all,
one is it? And you
sure,
said there's
I will
depth.
tell you. I will tell you.
So don't.
Sure, I will tell you. Let me. There's a difference. It's not hypocritical, right? If you say that that's a manly attitude, and I say, what does it mean manly? And you say, well, it has courage, and it also has this, it also has that. That is all correct. That is true. But if you tell me which way is north, there can't be two ways.
No, so
that's not the same thing.
no, so-
One word having multiple meanings incompensated in it is different than saying that what does it mean by not knowing. One explanation that Danny gave, one that you gave. And just before we go on, just so I can know that you are being truthful, you said there's two explanations.
To my knowledge.
What's the other one?
That I'm aware.
What's the other one?
I don't want to discuss.
Why
them
not?
Because I'm focused on the one I'm
No, but isn't that funny though?
What?
That there are multiple ways you try to go around this.
There's
as
no going
Christian.
around it.
Okay, so what's the other one? What's the other explanation?
So I like, me personally.
I get what you like.
So let's
I'm
stick
just
to it.
asking, what is the other one?
You have to talk to another person that's going to.
But you said you know it.
Look.
You see, he won't even say it.
I don't have to.
Why not?
Because I'm not going off subject.
I'm not going. This is the same subject. We're not going off
so then
subject.
stick to what I
Okay.
gave you.
Okay,
Don't try
but
to
this
drag
is.
this anywhere
Isn't
else.
this interesting? That your own friend from Clubhouse
gave another
gave a
explanation that
different contradictory explanation.
it's not
that was not. He's saying that he did know. He just didn't declare.
So Uthman,
and what did you say?
I said that he did know.
You said that he forgot, that he had put it away. Or what did you say? Tell the truth. What did you say
I
then?
said he
Uthman,
failed.
you don't got
So he didn't know it at the.
So just like a word in Spanish, right? Let's say, I don't know, if I asked you, hey, how do you say shoes in Spanish?
Zapato.
But let's just say that you knew that,
All right.
back, 10 years ago.
And then I forgot
you
it.
forgot what it was.
Alas, I don't
and
know
then
it now.
I tell you it's zapatos, and you say, you know what? I knew that.
Exactly. But
at the moment when I asked you,
Perfect.
like, I don't know, but then
Perfect.
I tell you, and you say, oh, I knew that.
perfect example. So,
So does that say?
let's stick with that. Good example.
What I'm saying is,
I understand.
would that mean that you didn't know?
Yes.
Or you just forgot.
Excellent.
Right?
So the moment at the time that I had forgotten, right? At that time I didn't know until you reminded me, right? So excellent.
Right.
So God always knows everything, right? We agreed on that.
Correct.
God doesn't need to be reminded, right? So that, according to the example that you gave, and a beautiful example at that, right?
Thank you.
When I forgot the word in Spanish, at that time, I was no longer all knowing of the Spanish language, right? When you reminded me, yes, it triggered something and I got it back. Makes sense.
So it's
God,
in your subconscious memory.
Excellent.
But when I reminded you, then it was once again unleashed.
excellent. Gotcha. Now, at that moment, when it was in the subconscious and I didn't know, when I didn't have it present, I cannot claim to know, right? That is a time when I don't know, but your reminding me reminds me, and then when I'm able to respond, then I know. If God had it where he could not know, then that's a lack of knowledge. Then to say that God knows everything at all times, which me and you agreed to already, then says at that time when he didn't know the hour, he by your definition could not be God.